Hey everyone. Well, it's me, Christina, and I'm here, but I feel like I'm really not here. And I'm kind of struggling, and so I hope that you'll bear with me and I'll explain what's been going on that causes me to feel this way. I do have notes today, and I'll probably be glancing down at them and you know, because I'm having a hard time. So, why is this happening all of a sudden? Well, you know, obviously the whole world is affected by this coronavirus, and it's a dreadful, horrible thing. Uh, and I hate to sound selfish with, you know, having a mental illness and it being extra hard on me, but it is. And finding out that my psychiatrist is not going to be available to me because of canceled appointments, or anyone for that matter, for the next month and a half has been really hard for a person like me that relies on that person every 3 or 4 weeks to I wouldn't say to stay stable, but in the same sentence or thought, I've not been without him, every 3 or 4 weeks, that for the last 5 years that I have been relatively stable. And when I say, for me, stable is having episodes that are not like on full tilt. And so anyway, but that's what I found out. I'm not going to have my psychiatrist. And this past week has been it's been an intense week. And let me just explain that. So this past week has been like more bipolar than having bipolar, if that makes sense. It started out really amazing, and I had this series of events that occurred out of the blue that really were remarkable and so amazing. And they were joyous, It was the first time in a long time that I've, truly felt joy. I've been happy, but I mean, this was real heartfelt joy. And just when I thought it couldn't get any better, I had another situation that, happened, which, I call it my little message in a bottle that I sent out to a viewer, hoping that I could, get in touch or touch base with them, see how they're doing, because I was worried. And they got back to me, and it was so nice. And so it was a great 3 days of the beginning, and then it wasn't. Then I hit the wall, or I should say sunk in the pit, or whatever reference you want to call it. I haven't had a major depressive episode for probably 2 years. And, while I've had some depression, it hasn't been as intense as it can be, and that being to the point where it's physical almost. I mean, for me, I would say it is physical. I don't know if that's really true or not. I don't know what's true anymore, but I woke up after receiving some bad news, after having this great high that I was on. I was just like way up here, not manic, just so happy. And I was just, I didn't even think, how long can this last? I guess I should have, in hindsight, because I did get bad news, like I said, and it crushed me. And 2 days ago, I woke up and I was feeling like I was, being buried in concrete, or, falling into quicksand and being sucked under, and there's no way of getting out, or even I'm paralyzed. And it's a physical pain that just, I didn't even want to get out of bed. I stayed in bed for 2 days until almost noon. And I've been trying to just figure this whole thing out. I went on some other medication that is what I do when I, go on tilt. And it's helped some, but yesterday I, got the news that many people are affected, by this whole virus. And my psychiatrist, who I see every 3 or 4 weeks and have for the last 4 or 5 years, is no longer taking any patients at all for another month or month and a half. So I was supposed to see him this Friday, and I called yesterday to say, I have an appointment Friday, but I'm thinking I need to come in sooner because I'm kind of in a crisis. And they said, well, we're not seeing anyone for a month and a half. And I said, what do you mean? What am I supposed to do? All right. So I think others with mental health issues that they deal with, bipolar issues, as it is in my case, that it's a big concern if you rely on a psychiatrist. And when I say rely, I really do rely. It's not like a crutch. It's a reality. Now, I'll still get my medications and all that stuff, but I really needed to talk to him, and I'm kind of worried where this whole thing will go with it, with everything. Anyway, I was talking to a family member, and I was expressing my fear, my freaking out, whatever you want to call it, and that person was just like, we're all freaking out, and that just, I had to say, you know what, I have to just get off the phone right now. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but it's, for me at least, and maybe I'd love to hear someone else with having bipolar disorder, if this, or other mental illness. My whole life, all my life, has been dealing with chaos and confusion and isolation and loneliness and, well, everything, anxiety. And the world now, sadly, is having to deal with that, and people without my illness are not used to it, but I am. And so having a person say, we're all dealing with it, it was really hard to hear, because I put myself in a different category, and there's so many people like me, and I'm wondering what we're gonna do. So I made myself get cleaned up today somewhat, and come on here and just hope that my small YouTube audience, will, I don't know, just voice their story or whatever, take my mind out of my own self and how they're dealing with it, or they're going to deal with it, because I'm kind of feeling like I'm in a quagmire right now. Well, I did have, I think I told you, I had a really cool interaction with a person on YouTube that I reached out to, and they reached out back, and it was so amazing. And so yesterday I had a family member, and I was expressing my grief, and she said, well, how do you manage, in times like this? And, I'm pretty low. And I said, well, two things that are my top two. One is to draw upon my resources that I kind of bank up, good times, happy moments, and I've learned to kind of store them and pull them out and and use them for help and support when I'm, in a really low point. And the other thing is humor. My whole life, I've dealt with this illness a long time, almost my whole life, and I've learned since a young age to put humor into my existence because it makes my reality less painful and more bearable. And so I told her that, and then she said, well, like, what kind of happy, things do you draw on? And I wasn't going to mention, this exchange I had with this other YouTuber in a similar but different situation. But I shared, I didn't say what we exactly exchanged, but I just said that I'd had this remarkable experience and it left me so happy. And I said, it's that I draw on, and it's got to hold me, it's got to sustain me until, I'm strong enough to get over the hump. So that's what I'm doing. And anyway, so I'm looking down at my notes right now, and let's see, what else did I want to... This is crazy, I know, you guys, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I don't know what else to say because I am it's been really hard to get up and get out here today, but I'm always raw. I'm always unfiltered, unfortunately. And most of the time, unfortunately, I have a quote actually, that I love. It's called, "I've always regretted my speech, never my silence." And that is the story of my life. Anyway, I am here. I'm not afraid of being here and asking everyone for, just support if they can. If not, I'll get by. I do, and I'll figure this out. Everyone else in this world is fighting their own battles, and it's hard times, but we will get through it, and together we are strong. And so anyway, that's a messed up message, or I'm sorry, you guys, that today is not so clear, but that's me. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. Bye-bye.